Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Your Mark on the World show. I'm your host, Devin Thorpe. I'm a Forbes contributor covering social entrepreneurship and impact investing. And we have a blue-haired guest from Sweden on the show today. We're so excited to have with us Maria de la Croix. She is the CEO and co-founder of Wheelys Cafe. I think this could be real competition for Starbucks someday, and I'm excited about that prospect. Maria, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Maria, I want to hear from you firsthand about your experience applying for a job with Starbucks.
I mean, at the moment when I did apply for a job at Starbucks, I actually really needed a job. Working on a cafe, I love coffee. Of course, like a good choice. But in general, I could have picked any job. I needed a job, but not getting it because of the reasons of not having, because of my look, my parents, which might have been more provocative than it is now. Of course, it made me super angry, to be true. And I mean, many things have made me angry through the years. But at this point, I also kind of was in a situation. I was angry. That's one thing, but I also was in a situation where I had to figure something out because I had to pay rent, had to, do things. So I think that, both the feeling, the upset feeling, and the need to do something was like a good combination, I guess, because that's how it really started.
Yeah, well, it's really amazing. I try to picture the Starbucks manager who didn't hire you, and I think to myself, wow, he had no idea what he did, and there's really no way he could have known that the blue-haired girl, he said, we don't need you, we don't want your blue hair in our shop. There's just no way he could have known the impact you would have on his business in a few years. And yet, I suspect there will come a day when he's really sorry he didn't hire you. Now, I want to ask you this. What would have happened if he had hired you? Would Wheelys exist today?
I don't think Wheelys would have existed. No, because it was really born from frustration and the need to actually get money. That's honest. So no, I don't think so. Maybe something else would have been born, but not Wheelys.
Well, it really is an amazing thing. So tell us about the modern 2016 version of a Wheelys Cafe. What does that look like?
2016?
Yes, right now. If I wanted to buy one today, what would it look like and what would it do?
Well, it would be very portable. It would be a cafe, which compared to other cafes actually have wheels, so you can move to where your customers are instead of you being stuck on one place. Another benefit is, of course, the low startup cost. You don't need to rent a big space in a big city to get the customers. You just roll out and sell your coffee.
And how
also
much would it cost?
You boss yourself. You do whatever you want to do. If you don't feel like selling coffee at 7 in the morning on Wednesday, you don't need to. You can do something else instead. And you can move around. We have solar panels, running water. Everything is on a bike. Basically everything, or most things, but more that you find in an ordinary cafe, but compact.
Yeah. So you can make coffee and serve some danishes and all of that right on the bicycle-mounted cafe. It's powered by solar power. You serve organic food, organic coffee, right?
Yes, correct.
It just seems like it's almost too good to be true. And all of this, an entrepreneur can buy one for $5,900 or so. Is that right?
That is right.
Wow.
I mean,
it's just amazing. And what kind of volume, in terms of dollar volume, are the stores doing? These bicycle-mounted stores that you can buy for $5,900. What's the revenue each month?
it's so different. I mean, the reason we continued with Wheelys after starting one cafe was because we earned quite a lot, actually. And I mean, now suddenly we are in 65 countries, and the revenue is very different from country to country. But yeah.
Do you have any stores in the United States?
We do. We have stores in Florida, in LA. We have stores in Phoenix. We have stores in several places, and a lot more coming actually.
Yeah. So the stores
is what's growing most.
Sounds like most of those stores are in sunny places where they can work year round. But how does the store work in Sweden? You're based in, your headquarters are in Stockholm. I haven't been to Stockholm, but I've heard rumors that it gets cold there.
It do, and we even have a cafe in the north of Sweden, as well as in Jordan, where the weather is, on the other side, it's very warm. Yeah, I mean, there is actually a Swedish saying, which is there is no bad weathers, only bad clothes. So that's what we try to adapt. Our idea is, of course, we should be so versatile that it can adapt to the weather.
So do some of your stores stay open even in the wintertime?
Yes, we've been selling in minus 20 Celsius degrees in Sweden. It's fine, but it's cold. We need to have good clothes. And you would like to serve like warm drinks for people passing by. But
I bet you do great business if you can stand to be out in the cold like that. Holy cow.
Yeah, of course, it's easier to bike the cafe in, when it's not a lot of snow.
Yeah. Well, this is really an amazing model. Now, 65 countries. I imagine most of the units have gone to people in the developed world, Sweden, Western Europe, United States. Have some people purchased some of these in developing countries, maybe in Africa or South America?
Yes, they have, but it's fewer. It's much less in these countries than it is in for instance, US or Sweden, which of course is, I mean, what we wanted to do all the time is to lower the cost for entrepreneurs to be able to step in and start their own business. But in many countries, and for many people, even in the developed world, 5,999, it's still quite expensive. So of course, that's something we are still working on. We want it to be easy and affordable for everyone.
Now you have compared your app and the business in some ways to Uber, and that actually makes sense to me because, for instance, what I've seen a little bit in my community is that refugees have really taken to driving for Uber. They can finance a car and start driving and start making a living, and it's a great living compared to some of their other alternatives. It seems to me that your business, which costs a little less than a car, would actually be very competitive with Uber and in some ways maybe more fun.
Yeah, that's what we want it to be. Yeah. And we see it as a way to, I mean, now we're doing cafes, but it's not even only about cafes. It's a way to, have green mobile sales point around big cities in the world. So, yeah, I mean, that's what we want to do.
Yeah. Well, Maria, you are a remarkable, iconic entrepreneur, and clearly a lot of people in your community and out of it respect and recognize you and look up to you.
Thank
Who do
you.
you look up to as a role model?
Yeah, that's a hard question actually. I have a few. When I was young, I read Simone de Beauvoir, and I was working as I cleaned hospitals. I was a cleaning lady, and that kind of changed my life. I look up to Genghis Khan because he kind of built this empire, and I also actually look up to Margaret Thatcher, which is, we're not sharing same political views, but someone who actually do whatever it takes to do something. That's, I think, yeah.
Yeah, interesting role models. Thank you for sharing that. Now, I kind of I understand why you were motivated in those early days to start your business. But it would have been tempting for me. It would have been tempting, I think, for almost anyone to think of the first bicycle cafe as the business. But you thought of selling these. How did you decide to go beyond owning your own cafe and owning instead this massive global business?
I mean, from the beginning, it wasn't really. It started with the one cafe, and then the idea actually was not to turn it into like a global business. It was more of a way to test the crowdfunding pages. I also have been doing a lot of things, and I couldn't, when I started to do this, I couldn't, understand why not more. Why wasn't there more people doing this? Basically, more people should do this. Was what I thought, and I was not in the position to need money anymore. So I could kind of be creative and think about what I could do with this. So I put it out, or me and my friends actually put it out on Indiegogo, and so I think it was 15 cafes that were built by hand in Asula and Malmö. And I think the reason that we continued after that, because it kind of ended up costing us more to build the cafes than we sold them for. So we were like in a position there where it wasn't like it was not like a straight way to just continue with this. But when we got the responses from the people who actually ordered our cafes, and when we understood that these people are feeling the same joy being out on the streets selling coffee and actually earning money on it, then it felt kind of obvious to keep doing it anyway.
Yeah, well, it really is. I think a remarkable story. How important was your experience with Y Combinator?
It was super important, actually. I mean, they inspired us in so many ways. It was like to be around, it was like 100 companies or a bit less, but around us that had suddenly, we were around all these people having these incredible ideas, working day and night. I think that was such a big difference from being the boring one who always had to go home to work and to just be around this crowd of people and to actually suddenly meet people that really believed in this, that really encouraged us to make this bigger. That was very different, actually, and very important.
Very cool. Well, we like to ask all of our guests for an impact hack, some tip that would help us to do more good in the world. And clearly you're having a global impact in empowering ordinary people to become successful entrepreneurs. how, what tip would you give us? What impact hack do you have for us?
I mean, if you want to do something and you have some kind of idea about how that could be done, do it. That's my only like advice. Do it and fail. Like trial and error is everything. Yes. So I have so many people with so many good ideas, but if you don't try them, you won't really know if they work, and you can't just sit around thinking about it. Just go out there and do it and see what happens.
That's amazing. Well, Maria, I've got to thank you for taking the time to be with us today. You're just an amazing entrepreneur, an inspiring story. Before you go, please tell us how people can learn more about you and connect with you and learn more about how to get a Wheelys franchise.
I mean, send an email to me, maria@wheelyscafe.com, or visit us on Facebook, Wheelys Cafe. Or wheelyscafe.com works as well.
Okay. Well, Maria, again, thank you for being with us. We wish you every success in growing a global enterprise to rival Starbucks.
Thank you.
All righty. Let's do some good.